All right, let's talk about Tove, because although there is only 1 day left before we're actually gonna test her, I mean, I think it's worth just kind of talking a little bit about this. So she's a supporter, so obviously not like her attack is gonna be lower. She's middle, like attacker, supporter, and then defender being the lowest one, and then assault rifle. Although she is an assault rifle and water code, she is burst one. She buffs primarily shotguns. If you look at all her kits, it's basically buff. The main upgrade is like the shotguns, and it's so weird why they are so hesitant at like giving more stats on critical. Like critical rate 3.32%, and then critical damage 5.24. I don't know if that's included in the stacks of it also, but if it is, then it's like 15% at best. Like why do they hate crit teams so much? Why? Okay, she has a low reload time of 1 second because she's gonna really need it, because this one there is a 5% chance of activating when attacking, and this is when it will reload a little bit of her magazine, and then it will also give the stacking buff, which is like the temporary modification, and it stacks up to 3 times. And as you can see, once you get like a full stack of that thing, you'll get like a 42% attack speed. That seems like crazy, right? There is another unit that has attack speed buff, and that is our favorite Solene right here. She does increase her own attack speed, but except this time around there is a chance for you. It's not like always 100%. Why? Well, okay, look at here, right? You can actually see how many stacks she has in this situation. You see this 3, that's the 3. You know, they tried to be really hidden on this, because like they tried to hide the buffs at the bottom, so you don't see at the bottom like what buffs they have. But you forgot, like this is where the buffs are. This is where her buff is. She's having a hard time keeping up her own stacks. Look how it dropped. And then there it went back. Unless somehow I'm misunderstanding this, but she's dropping her own stacks. This 5%, I don't know why they choose to 5%. Like, dude, just do like multiple hits, like I don't know, like every 40 things. So yeah, and then the moment you drop that stacks, you lose the entire buff. Because if you actually look here, look, you see the buffs actually, and you know, they tried to hide the buffs down there. The buffs is gonna show up here also. So you see up there, that's the buff. And when you're 3 stacks, you see right here, this is all the buffs, and that last part is probably the permanent thing. And so there's 4 buffs there, right? But the moment, I don't know if there's other buffs in there, but the moment that drop, like, things out. So basically you have to upkeep that full stacks to even keep this attack speed, unless I'm like misunderstanding this. But you know, it's basically not 100% uptime on this attack speed. So I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding this. We'll wait until she's actually out, but you just have to think about it, right? Like, let's see here. If you have Noir, if you have the unlimited duration, it will show on the screen. So basically, the moment she dropped her stacks, the buffs were already gone. So it doesn't show here. So again, you have to upkeep that stacks to even like maintain this attack speed. Yeah, this is with no base ammo and no reload bastion cube. Yeah, sure. But then again, this 5% chance is so weird that it would have been better if, like, what are your goals? Why do I have to play RNG in battle? Like it would make more sense if like, oh, after 5 hits or something, or not 5 hits, but since assault rifle, 12 bullet shots per second by average, I guess. What, 20 shots to get like at least 1 proc of it? So technically, sure, it seems great, but why do I have to RNG? This is so stupid. I don't think that, why? Just why? Yeah, after 20 hits would have made sense, or even like heck 30 shots. Even 30 shots would have been nice. 20 shots, 30 shots. So what's the point of the 5%? Again, I don't understand why they're trying to do that. It's so weird. It's putting RNG in battle where it shouldn't be. Yeah, it's weird. It's probably because of that reload thing, and so that's why they want to make it percentage wise. But again, this skill 2 is not gonna end up like a consistent buff, right? There is a possibility that it's not a consistent buff. Shotguns, normally they shoot 1.5 shots per second, and so with just simple multiplication, it's raw paper math, right? With Tove at max skill 2, it's 2.1 shots per second. Sugar is 66% attack speed, so when she bursts, so it's becoming 2.49, and then I'm gonna assume that it's additive and just straight up multiply it. It's 3.1 shots with Sugar and Tove. So that's kind of like what it seems like. Basically, at best, Sugar will do double the damage, but that's including her burst, so it's not really double the damage. It goes from here to here. But also you have to realize there's the reload time also, because you're gonna be using more ammo, and so you're gonna be reloading a lot more. And then another thing is what team composition, because the team composition, that's the weird thing, because Summer Anise is actually not going to be a good unit with it because she wants to do last bullet, and Tove, she increases the max ammo capacity. This is really bad for last bullet units, so Summer Anise is not an option. Pepper is not an option because she's burst 1 and she's also last bullet. And Marciana is the same thing. In order for her to heal, she needs to be last bullet as well. So you're inting like 3 already of the units, and what else are there at this point? So there's some limits to which teams we have available right now that are out that she could really be used on. And if anything, it's just enabling Sugar, which is because Sugar has an increased ammo capacity for the entire team. So Sugar would actually be good on that one. And so this is kind of like the situation of what we would do if it's like a shotgun team. It would be either Summer Helm or Dala would be your burst 2, so that you have a cooldown reduction. If I have to choose, probably Dala, just so that I could manual things. But if it's against electric, and Sugar is fairly decent against electric, right? So you can use Sugar, and with Summer Helms, so iron. So that's one way to go about it if you want to make Sugar kind of like the main DPS. Or worst case, I don't know, you could use Isabel to reduce the cooldown so that you can burst as often as possible with Sugar. But if you use Isabel, you really gotta make sure that you have this cooldown reduction, and then you can have the Tove as B1. So that's kind of like the situation that you're gonna be in, and you want the cooldown reduction because she does provide a pretty decent buff, right? Like, so if you look at the burst, she only gives 2.3 times 3 to all allies, but then with the shotgun, the ones with the allies with the shotgun, 24% times 3, because it's up to 3 stacks. So, and also you gotta make sure that she has full stacks before you even burst with her, because it does mirror the stack count for 10 seconds, right? So you have to make sure that she has burst, and with the chance of her dropping, as you can see even on the demo, I don't think that they would even put her at the lower percentage where she has that chance to drop, right? Then you really, it's something iffy, right? You're not getting it, but it is a lot if you think about it, for 10 seconds, and that is a 72% attack, and it's caster's attack. And I would look at the Red Hood calcs just to double check what but supporters, in terms of supporters, it would be 83% of an attacker. So what in reality of this is she is providing, let's see, the 24.21 times 3 times about 83%. Supporter does have like roughly 83%. You know, this is just obviously different shotguns or different units have different stats, but it's essentially a 60% attack buff. Imagine, I guess, like a litter buff, but that lasts for, instead of 5 seconds, it lasts for 10 seconds, which is pretty good. She does provide something, and right now with the current meta with this, I could see this as, you know, for a lot of people, for other people, they could use this as like a last team, because right now it is pretty difficult to slot in, right? Like you have litter already, and you have volume and Dorothy, and litter, volume and Dorothy are on the Tia Naga, and then for the bunny girls you have to use litter or volume so that you get like the cooldown reduction, so you can burst as often as possible. And then Dorothy is here, so like in Union Raid it is kind of difficult to slot her in. But if you don't have any of those, I could see people trying to make a team with shotgun. In solo raid, I could see this as like team 4 or team 5, but yeah, it's not a huge priority character as of right now. It doesn't seem like it. Now obviously we're gonna need to have some people with like invested, sugared, guilty, and we'll see how they kind of go about it, like their overall deeps. But it seems like it's kind of hard to kind of slot her into the meta. And the biggest problem that she does have is cooldown reduction. As a burst 1 unit, you need a lot of cooldown reduction. Is that is how to make your unit top tier. That is one of the reasons why volume is still used to this day. And even without a lot of people don't have the skill 1 or skill 2 invested. I have it level 10, but a lot of people just keep volume at 144, and that's like perfectly fine already, because she doesn't need to do anything else other than provide the cooldown. It is just, that's just how good it is. And especially for bossing, minimizing the full burst gap between each other is a pretty good thing. Right now the only meta shotgun is, or the main meta shotgun with is Summer Anise. That's the main one, and Noir. But then the reason why we use Noir is with Blanc, right? And technically you could do this right there. So but then I think that's kind of like a waste of Noir. You can see how it's kind of like a waste, because you could put another DPS here. We'll see. Obviously I'll still pull just a collection and also like flexibility, things like that. But at most it's just like a 1 copy thing to me, even though that multiple copies will boost the way her attack buffs are. I don't know, it's hard to kind of justify it unless we see more other meta shotguns. If you want to cope for like a future good unit, I could see why where we can use her. Isabel Pilgrim. Yeah, we don't talk about her. At least we can see more use on her rather than Query. Yes. Like Query, I'm like, who are you building Query for? At least with Tove, we could see, okay, you know what? You got a sugar right here. Okay, I got you. Okay, you got Drake, you got you got a little bit of something else that you could use, right? Like at least there's a team that could make sense with these. So yeah, that's like my quick thoughts on it. We'll see. I'll pull again when she's out. But yeah.